Okay, I guess we are live. I am just going to do a quick check and ask the viewers of this live session if they're able to hear me, if they're able to hear the guests, and as well as see us. So, hi guys, I hope you know that my name is Shweta Arora. Welcome to this live session wherein we are going to ask some interesting questions to the current student of SDA Bocconi Asia Center as well as one of their alums. So, Tanmay and Abhishek, if you could say hi to the audience, that way I'll also be able to confirm if they're able to hear your voices.
So, hello everyone.
Hey everyone, look forward to speak to you all.
So, guys, if you can just say hi in the chat box, that way we'll all know if you're able to hear all of us. Okay, hi, इतना time क्यों लग रहा है? We just started at 8. Hi, hello everyone. Hi. So, how many of you here in the chat box have already applied to SDA Bocconi Asia Center, and how many of you are willing to apply? If you could just type apply कर दिया है या फिर कि apply करना है, that will really help us understand where you stand in the admission process. Okay, so I'm receiving a lot of highs, which means that they have already tuned in. We have a lot of people in the live session already. Okay, guys, if you could just say yes if you're able to hear me, that way we can start off with the session. All right, I see a lot of yeses in the chat box as well, which means that we're all audible. Okay, let us start now. We have a couple of interesting questions in place for our guests. We have Tanmay here, who's a current student of IMB, which is International Masters in Business. And this is a program which is offered by SDA Bocconi Asia Center. तो हम जो questions पूछेंगे तन्मय को, that will be related to his journey there on campus. आप में से बहुत सारे लोग apply कर रहे होंगे, but will have no idea कि कैसी life होगी. So all your questions, all your concerns can be directed to Tanmay. Similarly, we have Abhishek, who is one of the alums of SDA Bocconi Asia Center. And इस live session से पहले, he confessed that he is very excited to be giving back to the college in the way that he would really want to help you all. So, अगर आपके कोई भी ऐसे questions हैं कि graduate होने के बाद क्या होता है, feel free to redirect them to Abhishek. So, I am going to be the host of this live session ताकि आपके questions जो आप live chat में डालो, वो मैं इन तक पहुंचा पाऊँ. So let us start off with the session. Firstly, thank you so much to both of you for joining in. आपने अपना time निकाला, खास तौर से अभिषेक, you're working, still you took out the time. So thank you for being here. And तन्मय से start करते हैं. तन्मय, I would request you to introduce yourself so that everyone gets to know a little bit about your background.
So, thank you so much, Shweta, for the session. Hello everyone. I'm Tanmay, and I'm currently a final year student of International Master in Business at SDA Bocconi Asia Center. And previously, I have graduated through Pune University as an engineering student, and then I took up a job as a software developer in Atra Infotech, which was a payment domain industry company. And then I switched to Mastercard as an analyst before joining MBA. And yeah, that's been my journey before MBA, and now it's been 2 years. So yeah, I'm at this position now.
I've heard
Thank
this,
you.
तो तन्मय just like correct me if I'm wrong, but मैंने ऐसा सुना है कि SDA Bocconi Asia Center में WorkX को बहुत ज़्यादा weightage दिया जाता है. Is that true? Like especially for your batch?
Do you mean in terms of getting admitted to SDA Bocconi?
Yes.
No, I would not say that. I would say like it's a balance between the freshers and the people with experience, because like we are a batch of 260 and I have many friends who are quite fresher, like they're just graduated from the commerce background or from arts background and they're right into the MBA. So it's a mix of both.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just said this because जो dedicated video मैंने बनाया था SDA Bocconi Asia Center के ऊपर, उसमें ऐसा कुछ mention था कि शायद जिनका work experience 12 to 18 months के ऊपर है, they are kind of preferred because उनको scholarships में भी advantage रहता है. Scholarships में शायद कुछ criterias होते हैं ना, उसमें एक criteria work
There
का भी
are,
होता है.
but there are multiple criterias like what
correct.
extracurricular you have done and what's your profile, background, everything. So not just the work ex, I would say per se.
Makes sense. Abhishek, would you like to introduce yourself, share a little bit about your background pre-MBA and also after MBA?
Thanks, Shweta, and I would just like to thank you for having me here. My name is Abhishek. I come from a city called Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. I did my schooling and BTech in Bhopal itself. I have been academically decent, pre-MBA, right? Was averaging about 84% before I applied for MBA, and have won few national championships as well, right? From the Tech Fest organized by IT Indore, Kharagpur. So this was my profile before MBA, and post that, I gave CAT in 2015, where I scored about 92 percentile, and I had a few options, where I applied, and I chose SDA Bocconi as my MBA partner, and definitely loving the decision that I made in 2015. And yeah, I mean, today I am right now sitting in front of you. So post MBA, once I graduated, so I was selected through my campus in Avenues Payment. From there, I switched to ABI and then to PepsiCo. So I'm currently working with PepsiCo.
Okay, that's amazing. And you mentioned that you had a couple of calls after scoring 92 percentile. So if you feel
Yeah.
comfortable sharing, आप बता सकते हो कि आपके पास कौन से options थे? And then why did you decide to go ahead with SDA Bocconi Asia Center? Because इससे होगा, a lot of people might be in the same boat as you, and that will help
Yeah.
them decide कि उनको क्यों ये institute select करना चाहिए.
Right. So when I applied to colleges, I got a call from Lal Bahadur Shastri, LBSIM. I got a call from IMI. I got a call from IMT Ghaziabad. There was some core program that was there, right? And I also got a call from SD Bocconi.
Okay.
So when I was making a decision or when I was making a choice, I was, thinking about various factors, right? For example, what are the key offerings that each of the college was giving, right? For example, the alumni base, the teaching, the curriculum, right? The placement report, which is very important. So these were the different factors, right, that I considered, and definitely then I zeroed on SD Bocconi, and yeah, that was my thinking.
Same question to Tanmay as well. Like, Tanmay, how did you decide? What all calls did you have? Which exams did you take?
Okay. So I took NMAT and SDA Bocconi test. So the Bocconi test that college conducts every year. And I got into SDA Bocconi through the Bocconi test. I didn't appear for any other college because I got a call from SDA Bocconi and I finalized that I'll go through it. Because the brand name that SDA Bocconi already had in the market, because I was looking for universities in foreign, and I knew that SDA Bocconi is something which is one of the top universities. In fact, we got a Financial Times ranking, and I'm very proud to say that SDA Bocconi is ranked a global top three in the MBA programs. So that was one reason which I didn't look for any other options, and I straight away went to SDA Bocconi because eventually MBA is something where you think of getting into a tier one or a prestigious college. So that was the major reason.
करेक्ट यू मेंशन द बुकोनी टेस्ट तो बहुत सारे लोगों को
Yep.
शायद ये नहीं पता होगा दैट इज व्हाई आई वुड वांट टू क्लैरिफाई दैट इवन इफ लेट्स से यू हैवंट स्कोर्ड वेरी वेल वैसे तो बहुत हाई मीडियन कट ऑफ्स रहती हैं लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल कैट
True.
में आई थिंक इट्स 90 इसी तरह जीमैट में जीआरई में सब में बहुत हायर साइड पे कट ऑफ्स हैं बट लेट्स से यू फील दैट you know maybe by a small margin you kind of missed it on that day तो आप बकौनी टेस्ट लेके भी एसटी बकौनी एशिया सेंटर में एडमिशन ले सकते हो बट द कंडीशन इज दैट ओवरऑल प्रोफाइल भी अच्छी होनी चाहिए एंड देन बकौनी
Yes.
टेस्ट में भी एक्सेप्शनल परफॉर्मेंस होनी चाहिए सो तन्मय बिकॉज यू
Yep.
टुक द बकौनी टेस्ट इज
Mhm.
देयर एनी मैसेज यू वुड वांट टू कन्वे टू द पीपल जो ज्वाइन जरूर करना चाहेंगे एसटी बकौनी एशिया सेंटर बट उनका लेट्स से कोई एग्जाम है जिसमें लास्ट मोमेंट कुछ ऐसा हो गया दैट दे
Mhm.
वर नॉट एबल टू क्लियर इट विद दैट हाई अ
Yes.
परसेंटाइल
या आई मीन यू कैन डेफिनेटली ऑप्ट फॉर वोकोनी टेस्ट और इसमें ऐसा होता है कि ये बहुत डिफिकल्ट नहीं जाएगा लाइक जैसे कैट बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो गया या फिर जैक हो गया सो
हम्म
वोकोनी टेस्ट विल बी मोर ऑफ द एनमैट लेवल जिसमें सिमिलर कंसेप्ट होता है विच वी से आई फॉरगॉट द टर्म the paper gets improvised if you keep on answering the correct questions.
adaptive test no
Adaptive test, yeah, the adaptive test. So it's a kind of similar thing, and I think it's a 60 or 70 minutes of test. And बस टेस्ट का रिजल्ट नहीं होता है, so there is nothing like percentile in the test. You get a pass or fail, and based on that, उसके बाद आपका interview schedule होता है. So that's the initial process.
okay and Abhishek you got in via the cat percentile directly.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, perfect. So, Abhishek, I do have a question for you because you mentioned that, you graduated and you're happy with your decision. So, if you could walk us through how was your life before MBA, during MBA, and then how has your life changed? Or maybe let's say, how was your life during MBA and how has it changed after MBA? what would you say exactly happened, and how has SDA Bocconi Asia Center contributed in that change?
Okay, so I'll just talk about before MBA, right? So when I did my BTech, so see, when you're doing a BTech in India, it's all about the technical skills, process know-hows that you learn, right? So it's
Correct.
more about the back end side of the business, and you do not understand what is the larger picture. So that is the reason why, I always wanted to do MBA in the first place. So when I joined SD Bocconi, I mean, I was, quite happy because other things like curriculum and which I already talked about. So it also helped me improve my personality and overall perform. I mean overall personality as a whole. For example, public speaking. Right, there was a I think subject called business communication, wherein there was a topic given to you and you have to speak in front of the whole class. So that was something like एक थोड़ा सा setback हो गया था कि यार मैं कैसे बोलूंगा इतने सारे लोगों के सामने. But again, the professors are amazing. They helped me, with my weak points, helped me improve the way I was speaking, and then eventually I got a A grading in that particular subject, which I thought probably I'll flunk, but yeah, I passed with flying colors. Post MBA, I think, since SD Bocconi is a growing name in India, people are, quite aware about the name. We have a good, strong alumni base in India, and global alumni network is about 1.5 lakh people, right? So there's also a portal. Once you pass out of SD Bocconi, you automatically become part of that Bocconi alumni group. You can talk to them for career advice, for jobs, and various things, right? So yeah, I mean it's overall a very good package, right? When you talk about SD Bocconi, pre MBA, during MBA, and post MBA.
Got it. And this group that you're talking about, it is like a global group. So even if there
Yeah,
are
that's right. Global
opportunities
alumni.
abroad, oh, okay,
Yeah,
amazing.
absolutely, absolutely.
Amazing. That's great. Tanmay, how about the life on campus? So अभी बहुत सारे लोग जब admission लेंगे,
Yes.
then how
Mhm.
does the life look for them? And here I would want to break it down into the first semester specifically because it's very different.
Okay.
It's like a
Yeah,
setback for a lot of people, and then the rest of the
exactly.
journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's like for every MBA college in India, जब आप initially आते हो, you are like quite clueless. You don't have any clarity कि marketing करना है, finance करना है. You keep on jumbling upon things. So it start with the same dilemma mindset. But initially, एसडा में आने के बाद same चीज होगी कि you will have so many things on your plate and you will be so overwhelmed at the time कि यार बस अभी मैं भाग जाऊँ यहाँ से.
Hmm.
But then soon things will start settling down. You will have your clubs and committees processes. ये initial weeks में होंगे. The placement committee process, the academic club process, professional clubs. So campus में multiple clubs है, right from academics for different streams. There are professional clubs like 180 DC consulting, 180 degree consulting. Then there is Hult Prize, Toastmasters. There is TEDx Bocconi U Mumbai. And even I was a part of Hult Prize as a logistics lead. So, I got an opportunity. We had this opportunity to hold a Mumbai Summit, which is a regional summit that happens every year by the Hult Prize Committee, which is a global foundation. And I was leading a team of 27 people there with like 60 startups which participated from all over the globe. So this is kind of exposure you get. And the theme was sustainability and college practices sustainability. Like if you see this year's FT rankings, you will see the first rank as the carbon footprint for SDA. So that is something which we got to, experience how sustainability is making a move in the industry and how people are developing sustainable practices with different products, innovations. So this was a kind of exposure that I just got through college because, college ने वो develop करके रखा है that we could, build up new clubs and committees which will foster our growth. So
Got
that's
it.
the campus. Yeah, and there are multiple cultural events because it's an Indo-Italian amalgamation. So आपको वो Italian touch भी आएगा with everything, and you will have the Indian essence of the cultures, the festivals that happen, and you will enjoy it when you see those professors coming here and they're enjoying. Okay, there's a Diwali celebration or there's a Holi celebration. So that's kind of a different thing. Yeah, that's very pretty interesting to have.
I would want to clarify this point because बहुत सारे लोगों को शायद ये नहीं पता होगा, but एसडीए बुखानी एशिया सेंटर में visiting faculty होती है, so they fly in from abroad, and that's why Tanmay is saying कि a blend of both the cultures. But I would want to know
Right.
more about the Italian culture वाला part here. But उससे पहले
Mhm.
कुछ questions हैं chat box में, so I would want you guys to address them side by side. And guys, if you have any more questions, तो आप chat box में डालते रहना. I will keep asking them. Um, so a couple of people are saying कि उनका प्रोफाइल में कुछ ना कुछ इशू रह गया था, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल somebody has mentioned that if they have scored 80 percentile in the CAT exam, if let's say they take
Mhm.
the Bocconi test, या फिर कि वो उनका ओवरऑल प्रोफाइल बहुत अच्छा है, do they still have a chance to make it to SDA Bocconi Asia Center? You guys must be having a lot of batchmates इनके अलग-अलग percentiles थी. So if you could guide them कि क्या possibility है, क्या chances हैं of making it to SDA Bocconi Asia Center?
Abhishek, would you take that or should I go with it?
You can take that and then I can proceed put my points.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. You still have the chance because Bocconi test doesn't count your CAT score basically. So it's not considered your benchmark to get into SDA Bocconi if you're appearing for a Bocconi test. And if you have a decent profile, you still stand a chance for an interview. And then with the interview, how do you convert? That's entirely subjective thing again. How do you perform in your interview, and how do you answer your articulate your questions? Then in that sense.
Right. And what I would like to add is, SD Bocconi typically doesn't believe in, that, if you are at a certain level, for example, 80 percentile, 90, 95. So it also looks at the overall personality and the academics and the achievement, extracurriculars, things like that, and also candidates' inclination towards MBA. He or she is a cultural fit for the college, right? What positives that he or she will bring on the table. So these are the points that are being considered while while doing a SDA selection probably. And yeah, I mean the person still stands a chance if he has scored 80%, but definitely she can make it up.
Got it. Ishika has a similar question. So, Abhishek, like you mentioned, कि अगर extracurriculars हैं, internships है, overall profile basically strong
Yeah,
है. But Ishika
yeah.
has mentioned कि उनके 12th में 50% से कम marks थे. So, would that be like a very big no या कि उसकी वजह से नहीं होगा ऐसा कुछ होता है?
See, I mean, with SD Bocconi, I mean, we would like to see the overall profile. It's not say that, I'll outrightly say a no or a yes, but definitely if she has got good work experience or internships, live projects, vocational training, skills, that definitely increases the chance. But again, if you're applying to a few of the companies, for example, if you're into consulting, you want to apply to McKinsey, Bain, they definitely look at your 12th percentage, 10 percentage. So
Correct.
that is definitely a downer for her, but overall that should not hamper her chances.
All right. Ishika, here I would also like to mention कि SD Bocconi Asia Center का eligibility criteria भी आपको check करना पड़ेगा because they
Yeah.
require a certain aggregate for your 10th and 12th का जो average marks है वो एक certain amount, like I think it's 70%, but I'm not sure, उससे ऊपर होना चाहिए. So you check that number. Eligibility के लिए if you are if you're eligible, then Abhishek is saying that overall profile will count. So that won't be a problem, but then of course placements में certain companies require good marks. Dipanshi also has a question कि if she did BSc biology, which is a diverse background, but now she wants to get into MBA, which is like management and commerce ka post grad, so would that be an issue? So probably Tanmay, if you could talk about the current diversity on
Yeah.
campus, that would really help.
Right. So yeah, Dipanshi, right? I'm sorry if I've mistaken your name, but it won't be a problem because if SDA Bocconi में ऐसा होता है कि there are multiple students with a different background. Like if you see majority of the MBA colleges in India, they'll have maximum percentage of student as an engineers. But SDA Bocconi में वैसा नहीं है. You will see people from biology. Like मेरे क्लास में ऐसे लोग हैं जो architect हैं, या फिर someone who is a dentist, who is a vet. So there are students like that. Someone from a microbiology background also we have. Someone from biotech. So there is a different, entirely different crowd pool that you will see. And जो ideas exchange होते हैं उस time पे, when you sit in a class or you discuss, because हमेशा industry same नहीं रहेगी. Like you will deal with problems which are from different industry if you get into a job. तो उस टाइम पे you will have that learnings from your peer. So the peer to peer learning concept जो बन जाता है यहाँ पे, with the rapport you build up in the year. So that is something which can be a USP for this course.
Got
But
it.
yeah, BSc biology हो या कोई other भी background होगा तो it's not a problem.
Got it. So Dipanshi, to answer your question, like Tanmay said, कि आप अगर diverse background से भी हो, you are more than welcome, and that won't be any issue. So a question from Yash and Abhishek, this would be, I think he's directed it to you, which is that what's the future job prospect and industry connects which I'll get after doing an MBA from SDA Bocconi?
See, I mean, there are a lot of companies that are coming on campus, right? So it typically depends on what specialization or what sort of a role you're targeting. So once you get into a MBA class, it's definitely important for you to shape your career. So for example, if you're interested in sales side, so opt for those internship, those subjects that definitely shape your career in that direction, right? So you definitely need to know what direction you headed. And then there are a lot of companies, right? I got placed in a company called CC Avenues, and I was into B2B sales, right? So I've always wanted to sales and then into marketing and sales strategy, things like that. So yeah, shape your career and then probably look out for certain opportunities. I hope that answers that answers the questions.
Yes, and also about the industry connect. So, like for example, you
Yeah,
switched companies, right? So, how
yeah,
how did the alum base help, or did it help?
absolutely. So I got a job in ABI through alumni reference.
Okay,
Okay, so alumni plays a very vital role, not just in India but outside India. And alumni, as I already told you, it's huge, right? So once you have a good rapport, because it's also important to do a lot of networking, right? It's not that out of the blue you can just message, but just try to build a lot of rapport. Try to post good stuff on LinkedIn. Try to connect with a lot of people, share insights and thoughts. That way you network with people, and also you get into eyes of a lot of people, get into and possibly land a good job. Post that.
got it. And guys, because he mentioned, like Abhishek has mentioned about the global connects as well. So तन्मय के साथ मेरी बात हो रही थी before this live session, and he was mentioning कि when he spent a semester in Milan, जिसके बारे में भी हम डिटेल में बात करेंगे. So Milan के semester में he interned there, and currently he is working like as a side thing. He's currently working on some live projects with the same company. So Tanmay, if you could talk about this semester in Milan,
Mhm.
which is the SDA Bocconi there, the main campus. And along with that, if you tell us कि वहां पर भी आप जाके internships कर सकते हो, या आपके लिए क्या international opportunities open up होती हैं because of that particular
Yes.
semester, that will really help them.
Right. So ऐसा होता है कि once you are into Milan, the visa that you hold, it gives you, a permission to work there for part-time job. So आप internship वहाँ पे ले सकते हो, and mostly internship आप, आपके course के through avail करते हो या through your professors. So the one which I got was in the company called Analytics Arts, जहाँ पे मैं as a visiting data scientist काम कर रहा था. And my job was more, the company is more of a market research and a data analytical firm. So मैंने दोनों चीजें पढ़ी साथ में, like market research कैसे होती है, basic service कैसे conduct करते हैं. So that was one great learning. And European market था, तो जो market मुझे बिल्कुल पता नहीं है उसके बारे में जानने मिला. More about knowing about the culture, like जब कॉल ऑफिस में जा रहा हूँ तो एक छोटी सी टीम है, and how that team has built over the year, then their entire business, जैसे हम यहाँ पे दिवाली सेलिब्रेट करते हैं, so I called them for Diwali celebration in Milan because दिवाली वहाँ पे मनाई हमने. So the entire office was at my home. They even did a puja and everything. So it was a complete experience. ऑफिस में और सारी चीजें कि एनालिटिक्स कैसे सीखते हैं, लाइक हाउ यू डेवलप एंड बिल्ड एनालिटिकल डैशबोर्ड्स एंड एवरीथिंग, एंड हाउ डू यू इम्प्लीमेंट इन द बिजनेस. सो ये मैंने एक सीखा. I also work for their business development strategy part because my major is into strategy and consulting part. So I help them to identify the markets where they can move and build up their business and scale it more. So ये एक part मैंने वहाँ पे किया. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट मिलान सेमेस्टर में एक चीज है, द एक्सपीरियंस दैट यू गेट इन द कैंपस. क्योंकि वहां का कैंपस आप जाते ही ऐसे एक, यू आर लैंडिंग इनटू कॉर्पोरेट वर्ल्ड ऐसा फील होगा. क्योंकि एवरी अदर डे यू विल सी मॉर्गन स्टैनली और गोल्डमैन सैक्स डूइंग सम सॉर्ट ऑफ इवेंट और एनीथिंग. So that's a different kind of experience you get there. In terms of job, you also can look for a job opportunity वहाँ पे, because there is a Bocconi job fair where you can apply. If you know Italian, or if you have some foreign language, L2, L3, then it's a plus point again there. So that's one thing. उसके बाद 4 महीने का आपके पास टाइम पीरियड होता है, तो you also get to travel a lot. So थोड़ा explore भी कर सकते हो आप when you are there, because that's what I also did, because I'm a traveler kind of person. I like to travel a lot. So one thing I learned, like how the culture is influenced by India. Like I've been to a shop which was entirely Indian shop. You will see a Ma Durga ka photo, Ram Bhagwan ka photo, and everything there. So that kind of experience and influence that an Indian culture have in the foreign world. So that is one thing, and everyone is so intrigued and so curious to know about India, get into India, start up their business in India. So India is a point where, like, you can just scale up your leverage and everything you can do. But that is a whole lot of experience for 4 months.
So ये जो internship आपने की थी, is it like a compulsory internship या voluntary है कि आप करना चाहते हो तो आप कर सकते हो?
Yeah, it's a voluntary internship. There is nothing compulsion for getting into an internship, because compulsory तो यहाँ पे जो 2 महीने का program होता है, for the summer internship program that we say
Correct.
SIP, that is compulsory thing. But when you go there, it's completely on you. If you have time and you are willing to work there, you can definitely land up and find something.
And like, how about the
So
job fairs? And like, Abhishek, feel free to jump in and contribute because you also spent a semester in Milan. Na? That is a compulsory semester for every person who's enrolled in the
yes.
program. So like,
Yeah.
feel free to add your inputs as well because I want to know about the job fairs जो वहाँ होते हैं. So let's say someone is there for the specialized semester for 4 months and वो job fairs के through they get a job. So then how does it take place? Like you join post graduating from SDA Bocconi Asia Center and like it's similar
Yes.
to the jobs that you get here, right?
Yeah, it's similar to the job that you get here. बस वहाँ पे ऐसा होता है कि इंडिया में there is a culture for every college कि companies आती है and placement drives conduct होती है with a proper process. But out of India, if you go, you will have to hunt for the job. You will have to go and give your resumes and ask for a job. So it's the same kind of thing. It's a job fair where companies come and you hand over your resume, you talk, you build, you network with them, and then they give you a call, then you have interviews and everything. And the joining is mostly post MBA. So you come back to India, then again you apply for a visa and the process that company takes care. So that's how
Okay,
the arrangement works.
got it.
And
Abhishek, would
just
you
to
like to
add,
add? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
just to add, what I've experienced, when I went there in 2017 was, a lot of companies, you can network with them, you can pass on your resume, get their contact details so that, you can follow up and things like that. Definitely you can do that. But also there's a thing, when you're there in European market, it's a little language sensitive, right? For example, it's good to have a knowledge of, speaking knowledge of or writing skill of Italian language, Spanish, French so that you have more opportunities and you land up more acceptance rather than rejection. So that was my key insight out of the program.
that's great actually because even for someone who might be considering to join, उनको भी
Yeah.
अगर वो पहले से सीख के जाते हैं तो that will immensely help them, I guess. Hmm.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Right.
There was a question which was regarding the differentiating factor. So somebody asked that how is an SDA Bocconi MBA different from let's say the MBA from IIM? So here I can be the person of comparison because मैं बताऊंगी कि IIMs में क्या different था. So like
Mhm.
both of you, like we'll start with Abhishek. How would you say an MBA from SDA Bocconi is different from an MBA from an IIM?
See, I mean, to be honest, I haven't done MBA from IIM, so I cannot comment on that.
I'll
But
help
yeah,
you.
it's like yeah, so it's like a typical MBA only. I mean, it's not like anything different. But the thing is, the offerings that SDA Bocconi offers you, that might be a little different because we right from the point where you're getting admitted into SDA Bocconi, the selection criteria is different, right? So we are looking for a very all-round sort of a candidate rather than just based on the marks and scores, things like that. So that is the first differentiation point when you enter into the campus, right? And if you get into the campus, the most striking things, the case studies that you get, right? Because it's up to date, it's industry relevant, and you speak to the faculties, and I think 99% of them are doctorate. So they have got a lot of, I mean, they are expert in their fields respectively. So you interact with faculties, you understand their perspective, how a Indian thing versus how a European thinks, it's totally different, right? When I interact with them, I thought, hey, ye bhi ho sakta tha. This is also a point that I could not think of. Being an Indian and being in an Indian subcontinent. Okay, so that perspective also plays a major role. Apart from that, the guest lectures that we used to have. I still remember there was a guest lecture from Lamborghini. There was one person, I don't remember his name, but that gentleman came in 2016. I was so amazed to, attend that lecture. It was so good. I mean, I thought definitely I would want to work for Lamborghini sometime in the future. A lot of insight from that. We also have conclaves, we had TEDx. So we were the first batch to, get into that TEDx sort of a thing. And I was part of the organizing committee. So that was amazing experience. And yeah, internship, you visit a lot of companies from different backgrounds and different roles visit the campus. So yeah, it's different. It's not very different, but yeah, it's almost there. And with good learnings altogether.
The global faculty one and the Italian touch and not the Italian, the
Yeah,
European touch, in fact,
yeah,
and the
Mhm.
perspective, which is very different, was one
yeah.
of the major highlights that I could take away from your answer, which is definitely not there at the IIMs. What about you, Tanmay? What would you say is the differentiating factor?
I would say, I will agree with the Abhishek's point, like the learning methodology with the case-based solutions and, a very not class-oriented program, but more of a practical-oriented program. because we get a plenty of time to explore industry, because we have a concept of life projects here. Like students work for 20 hours a week around with a part-time kind of job where you actually learn in the class, but it will sound cliche, like every MBA faculty will say this, like this is something which you will apply in industry, and that actually happens. So you actually do a SWOT analysis of an industry, you actually do a different type of analysis for something different, some different problems which you are being taught. So this is one thing. So you get to see how lively you can apply those concepts which you are learning. So that is one plus thing. Apart from that, the triple accreditation, the triple crown, which the college holds. Like I think there are two more colleges in India who hold that. One is I'm Indore, and other is ISB, I think. Yeah. So that's one differentiating factor, a bigger differentiating factor, and the credit points. So many people might not know this, but 105 credit points that we earn during this, which is a European Credit Transfer System, ECTS. So it's kind of a credit system which makes you eligible, to apply in any other universities for your doctorate or a double master's outside India. It's accepted in Europe altogether, in Canada, Australia, in US as well. So that is one thing which you get, the added advantage of this program.
Got it. Another question that I have, and it is very relevant to Shashwat's question. So,
Mhm.
I'm going to break it into two parts. Basically, the question that I want to ask you is that are you happy with your decision of pursuing an MBA from SDA Bocconi Asia Center? So, Abhishek, the way I would want you to address this first is by breaking it into two parts. First, हो गया आपका experience wise. Are you happy with the decision? All the learnings that you could take away, tangible or intangible. The second aspect, which Shashwat was also mentioning, is related to the ROI factor. So, in the dedicated video that we made, I mentioned that the total fee would amount to be almost 30 lakhs. And Tanmay, you can correct me if I'm wrong. So, it's like
Mhm.
19.8 is the tuition fee. And baki total fee jo aapka lagega in total, that is 30 lakhs. So, would you say that ROI wise, it has been justified, the decision?
Okay.
Right.
Abhishek, you'll start.
You can go if you want to. No problem, Tanmay.
Okay, so you
Yeah.
want the overall experience and then again the ROI part, right?
Yes.
So that's the overall thing, yeah. So experience-wise, I will say with the 2.5 years of experience in an IT industry, I was still a kid. Like I didn't know how businesses work. Like I didn't know how money is made. I was just a dear developer and a very, introvert kind of person, little, stick into my laptop. But when I joined here as a student, I opened up, I climbed my steps one after the other. I took live projects with three different companies in a span of 6 or 7 months. Starting from Finlytics, where I learned about investment banking. Then I went to Midcat Advisory. I learned about risk management. I learned about how businesses manage their risk. When I joined Ecovis as an intern in last January, so I'm working with them till now. It's a year now, and I learned the entire consulting ecosystem, how SMEs are built, how SME market is building up in India, the potential they held, what are the problems of the industry, how do you cater them as a consultant. I was living literally a consultant's life just being in the part of an MBA student. So that is something, a big achievement for me, which, I can brag about it, but yeah, I won't brag about it, but yeah, it's something, an achievement for me. Coming from a background of engineering and then opening up to clients and talking with them, going on field visits. There was one project which I carried out during this period where I got to, interact with merchant bankers, the CEOs and the board of directors of the company, where we had to do rights issue and everything. So exploring capital markets, that was one thing which I did. So this is completely a different experience, which I, just got because I had the curriculum set in that way, where I can spend more time on these things. So that's thing. And the ROI part, I would say it's a very subjective thing, and I classify ROI as a tangible and intangible thing with a time period. So I cannot say I'm getting into a college and having a 1:1 ROI and get all the benefits in a single year. So the tangible thing will be the monetary investments that you have done. The intangibles will be the skills that you have developed, the network that you build, the connections that you have when you get out of the college, the alum network. So these are the things which I also accept as the term of under the umbrella of ROI. So I would say definitely my decision of getting into ESTA was one of the best decisions I took in the last 7 years of my existence. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the decision. Over to you, Abhishek.
Right. So my decision, I mean, definitely, I mean, I'll be the biggest advocate, in proving my decision right. Okay, because right from see, because I did not have a MBA, sorry, working experience pre-MBA. Okay, so I was a fresher when I graduated, and the very next year I got into SD Bocconi, right? So I had a very limited exposure in terms of skills because I just had technical know-hows of a mechanical engineer. So for me, getting a exposure of corporate exposure, which you learn through life project internship, as what Tanmay told. Okay, also how when I learned about concepts like microeconomics, microeconomics, sales management, corporate etiquettes, things like that. So it changed my perspective to a very new level. Okay, I was very happy to understand that these are the things that actually exist in the system, and I would like to know more about it. Okay, so my curiosity as a person grew over there, and I wanted to put myself in front of, I mean, on the front line, not towards the back end of the business. So that is the reason why I always advocate, the reason why I chose SD Bocconi, and it has always helped me. The faculties are super supportive. They fly from Milan to Bombay. They support whenever they are here, and even they're not here, they'll definitely be more than happy and willing to answer your queries over email. You can definitely reach out to them over a Zoom call. Probably Sanmay might be able to tell that better. But yeah, I mean, they're super supportive. You have constant support, amazing curriculum again. So yeah, so that is the reason why I always say that the decision was good.
Correct. And I think, Abhishek, you graduated in 2018, right? If I'm not wrong.
From SD Bocconi, yes,
Yes, yes. Okay.
yeah,
So it's been 5 years already that you've been
yeah.
working. So you might be a better, advocate also of the fact that ROI wise, if you consider not only the package just after graduation, but the hikes, the promotions, the switching that you do, is the fee been has the fee been justified? Because a lot of people, when they make this choice ना कि MBA college कौन सा join करना है, placements happens to be a very big factor for them. So now
Yeah.
that it's been 5 years for you, if you could address this placements wala aspect a little bit.
See, again, play ROIs is a very subjective thing. Okay, so for example, someone is spending 20 odd lakhs, and he or she gets a 15 lakh, right? So probably it'll take 2 to 3 years. So I personally took 2 years to get the ROI sorted for me. But for someone it might be 1 year, someone for it might be 5 years. So it's a subjective thing, and totally depends upon what sort of a role you are getting into. So if there is a boom in IT sector, if you're getting into that particular sector where the pay is really high, you might end up on a very high scale, as opposed to, in terms of ad media, things like that, wherein jobs are not that high paying. So that's a very subjective thing. But again, if you are upskilling yourself, you have the right amount of exposure, you have right internships, you have right subject knowledge and skills, you can definitely crack a very good job. It's not related to, industry at the first level. Yeah.
Got it. And what about the people who might be taking up jobs abroad, especially in the European countries, because of the job fair?
Sorry, I did not get your question.
So the ROI perspective for people who
Yeah.
might be getting job offers because of the job fair in this specialized Milan semester, how is the ROI for them?
So, yeah, I mean, it totally depends upon. See, the thing is, if you're working in a UK, US, or Europe, right? So you're getting a higher pay. Definitely, you get a higher pay as what is there in India. But again, the standard of living is also on a higher side. Okay, so if you are spending 30,000 for your daily, or sorry, monthly expense, you might spend 1 lakh over there. So it's totally subjective. But again, you might be able to quickly turn around the ROI thing over there if you are placed outside of India. But again, I recommend, definitely you should understand Indian landscape, because it should be a step-by-step journey wherein, if you have spent a considerable time in India, just learn about Indian landscape and then get into a global landscape. That will help enhance your career options and your understanding.
Got it. Got it. I don't know why a couple of people are writing this, Abhishek, but there's a message for you that Abhishek sir took my interview. So did you take a couple of interviews recently?
Yeah, so I told you, right? I have been a active participant in taking interviews, mentoring IMB students. So yeah,
Oh, all
I
right. So
thought probably there might be someone who I interviewed. So
yes,
probably, yeah.
there
Hi to
are a
that
couple
person.
of there are a couple of them. Would your interviews be like helping them take that decision of joining SDA Bocconi, or would it be like an admissions process elimination round?
So see, I mean, a lot of college nowadays, I was speaking to one of my colleagues who recently interviewed with ISB, and there was one from IIM Calcutta. So there is a new trend nowadays wherein alumni are being, part of the
Correct,
interview
correct. They are.
process,
Yes.
right? Yeah. So because, they're more relevant when it comes to the college exposure and the current scenario that you're facing. So yeah,
Got it.
definitely, yeah.
So, whoever said that, Abhishek took the interview, you can reach out to him on LinkedIn for any favors later. I am just kidding. Okay. Abhishek, if you could address this question, and Tanmay, you can also add about the current status on campus, but what kinds
Sure.
of roles are offered on campus? If Abhishek, you could share how your batchmates are currently placed, what are they doing right now? What kinds of roles
Okay.
are they in right now?
Right. So when we were, I mean, when in 2018 we were getting job opportunities, right? So a wide array of roles were coming on campus, right? From recruitment consulting to HR, talent acquisition, operations, supply chain management, sales, right? There are few roles in, I think, marketing as well. So digital marketing, if I remember. So these were the initial roles that were being offered, right? And now, if you talk about 5 years after that, I mean, currently 2024, I have a colleague who's currently working in Prague. Okay, so he got an opportunity. He was working in Bangalore, and then company gave him an opportunity to, you can shift your base to Prague. So he's almost working there for almost 1 year in Prague, ABI only, right? So that is the scope. And again, there's one colleague of mine who's into office of CEO. I mean, he has been, part of that circle wherein, he's giving strategic inputs to the office of CEO and things like that. And also, I see my journey as quite good and average because, I always wanted to be in the sales strategy and transformation role. I'm currently into that. So I already achieved my 5 years goal. So I'm currently looking, for 10-year goal from now on. So yeah, I mean, people are being placed good and upwards and onwards from here.
That's very good to hear that you've already achieved your 5 year goal. That's like a
Yeah.
dream for every B school student when they graduate.
It's always important to carve or create a framework. So, okay,
Yes.
for example, if you want to be a product manager, what are the key critical experiences that you would want before being a product manager? So you need to understand, talk to a lot of people, alumni, industry experts, and then carve your way out. So that is important.
Perfect, perfect. Tanmay, what is the scenario right now on campus? So, in the video, I remember I mentioned that SDA Bocconi has maintained 100% placement rate. Now, you are going to
Yes.
be the person that they're going to complain to. So, you have to tell us the reality on campus कि कैसा placement scene है, especially now because I've been seeing कि some B schools are struggling with the placements, given the industry
Yeah.
scenario.
Yeah, the industry scenario is worse this year. Like it's hiring freeze and hiring winter everywhere you
Yes.
see. The placements are still ongoing. I mean, campuses, colleges trying to bring in placements as much as possible, and students are still getting placed. So that's one thing. I'm placed, by the way. So that's one of the thing. And the thing here lies is, the companies are still coming in. I mean, they are still in the running phase, and it's not complete. The placement cycle is still ongoing. So I cannot really give you the exact figures or something, which will be released in the placement report. That's for sure. So that is an ongoing thing for campus. And the very another thing is they help you build your career, build you in terms of the placement scenarios, because the market today does not offer you a very a niche role. Mostly, if you say marketing also comes with the sales and everything. It's not just a marketing or a brand manager that will come. Then there are some profiles for in the HR part where you are joined as a trainee and then trained as a HR consultant. There are job roles for consulting, particularly niche consulting. Then there are job roles for operations and sales. So that's one thing which I have seen. So these are job profiles which are coming on campus. Then something into analysts. So these are some roles that are being offered to the students. That's the overall scenario right now.
Got it. And which one are you placed in? Which industry are you placed in?
So I'm placed in Ecovis RKCA. It's a financial consulting company and mostly into the consulting space where I'm heading the startup division where I'm responsible for managing the tech transformation to the clients, then strategy building, then a bit of transactional and financial advisory as well. So
Got it.
that's a job of a consultant. Like you have to be all together everywhere.
Got it. Perfect. So it's been 45 minutes into the live session. Now we are coming to the most interesting part, which is the rapid fire. So I'll explain the rules of the rapid fire to both the audience as well as the guests. So hoga kya that the audience is going to put up their questions currently in the live chat box, okay? And I will keep asking those questions, but the rule is that you have to answer them within a minute. So either of you, like I can direct the question if it's a specific one, otherwise you can press the virtual buzzer and answer the question. All right, so we are going to start. Guys, you can put up your questions in the live chat and I'm going to ask them. All right. Does SDA Bocconi have any preference for CAs?
I mean, CA would be an added advantage for you because you are a CA, and definitely it's a big deal. Nothing specific as a preference, I would say.
All right. Um, okay. So, do you need WorkX as a compulsory thing before getting into SDA Bocconi Asia Center?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But again, a good profile is mandatory, right? So yeah.
Okay. Is the batch size increasing over the years? Has it been a trend that's been seen?
Yes, definitely the batch size is increasing. Like from 260 to this year, I think the junior batch that we have is 330. So yeah, definitely.
Okay. Harry has a question. What are the chances of getting placed in Italy or any other foreign country with IMB program?
See, chances are
Uh,
bright, okay, but it totally depends upon your profile, okay, because it's not that, there is something in written and, you definitely get placed. You need to work a lot right from day one when you're getting into the campus, day in and day out, presentations, case studies, good grades, and then definitely if you're up skilled enough and you have a good profile, definitely no one can stop you.
शाश्वत has a question कि मान लो अगर आपको इटली में भी जॉब मिल गई and on campus भी जॉब मिल गई, so do you have a choice of taking up either of them?
I think yeah, college will give you that preference,
So,
definitely.
so if
College
you
will be
have,
supportive in that case.
so if you already have a job because of the Italy wala semester, you can still apply for the on-campus
No.
placement.
So I don't think ये situation आएगा पहली बार because if you get a placement in college, so you won't be eligible to apply outside, definitely. I mean in Europe. And if you get a job in Europe, then you won't be in the placement process for the internal thing, right?
So you can only choose one of them.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any scholarships available at SDA Bocconi Asia Center?
Uh,
Definitely. Scholarships are there, but again, it totally depends upon, as I told you already, the profile and everything, and also how well the interview went. Okay, because even I was a recipient of a certain percent of scholarship when I got into SG Bocconi. So my extracurriculars, my achievements, my BTech, if there is a work experience, that's the added advantage, but not necessarily, makes yes or no sort of a thing. बट हाँ, ये सारी चीजें बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट होती हैं स्कॉलरशिप मिलने के लिए. एंड इंटरव्यू कैसा गया वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट, बिकॉज इंटरव्यू प्रोसेस इज नॉट इजी. यू हैव अ स्क्रीनिंग, आपके मार्क्स देखे जाएंगे, फिर आपका प्रोफाइल देखा जाएगा. तो ये थोड़ी सी चीज, इट्स डिफिकल्ट, इट्स नॉट इजी टू गेट दैट.
Got it. वैसे मैंने जो वीडियो बनाई थी उसमें ये था कि 80% तक की स्कॉलरशिप्स हैं, कुछ ऐसा 30, 50, 80 के ब्रैकेट्स रहते हैं स्कॉलरशिप्स के. सो बेसिस ऑन अ लॉट ऑफ क्राइटेरिया लाइक academics, work achievements, and then they offer those scholarships, and a lot of people get them as well. So Honey का एक question है, and I think this probably Tanmay you'll be able to answer better. Is there any option of earning while doing IMB?
yeah, definitely. I mean, because when you do a life project, sometimes it's paid completely. So you definitely get to earn.
Okay.
And even the Milan internship if you're doing it. So
Yes,
earning in
I know.
euros, maybe.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Pratham is asking, and this is a repeated question. A lot of people are asking this, that when will be the second round results be out for the interviews? Do you guys have any idea about that?
I think it should
Abhishek,
be out in the second or third week, so they can directly reach out to the admissions team, right? If they don't haven't heard from college yet.
Correct. And the next round, the deadline is, I think, on 22nd of March, right? It's the round 3 deadline.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct. Guys, if any one of you wants to apply, I have put in the link in the pinned chat, or uske alawa I'll put it in the comments box also. On what basis do they select students?
I think Abhishek will answer this because he's in that part.
Yeah, so see, I mean, as I told you, right, CV screening is also done because we see, how good the profile is. If there is a diversity, because I've taken interviews wherein a lawyer also came. I mean, he did LLB and then he wanted to do MBA. So profile, what he brings on the table, he or she brings on the table is important. As I said again, I mean, I'm repeating it multiple times. The overall profile, scores are also important. It's not that, 10, 12 graduation, that's important because I used to see that when I was an interview, and also used to see NMAT, CAT, or any other examination score, and even BET for that matter. So yeah, these are the things.
All right. There is a question that what is the approximate expense in Tanmay because you've recently been there? What is the
Mhm.
approximate expense for the semester in Italy?
Okay, so it's 5 to 6 lakhs that you will spend because, considering the expenses that you have there for 4 months, the rent, the travel accommodation, and everything. So 5 to 6 is an ideal number which you'll spend because you'll travel definitely.
Got it. Does Bocconi accept CAT? Of course, and the median cutoff is around 90, and Abhishek also gotten via the CAT percentile only. Is SDA worth taking a loan? So I'm assuming you both would have taken loans to get into SDA Bocconi Asia Center.
Yes.
So is it
That's right.
worth taking the loan? Which I guess the question that is being asked is that how long would it take for you to repay the loan? I mean, that way.
That again goes to that ROI question only. So
Yes.
depends the type of role that you land into, right? But it someone can take 2 years, someone can take 5 years. So
Got it. Is IMB MBA equivalent to a normal MBA or not? So basically, is IMB equivalent to MBA or not? Like from an industry standpoint, I think the question that is being asked is कि मान लो आप graduate हो जाते हो and उसके बाद you have this program का degree. Is it equivalent to like when you are applying for a company, क्या वो ये बोलेंगे कि नहीं ये eligible नहीं है, MBA ही चाहिए है?
see, because from my experience, I can tell you wherever I apply, I mean, even, so if I apply for a new job, for example, post PepsiCo, if I apply, so they definitely check, wow, I mean, which college I am from. And they ask me about, if it's full-time experience, full-time MBA course. So I definitely say, and a lot of, I mean, a lot of companies do not ask me because they already know of the college because college is increasingly getting a lot of reputation in top MNCs, EY, Deloitte, AB InBev, PepsiCo, Coca-Cola. So they already know of candidates. So, it's definitely as equivalent to any PGDM or MBA from any other college as IMB. So, yeah.
करेक्ट प्लस लाइक हियर इज अनदर पॉइंटर अगर आप प्लेसमेंट कंपनीज देखोगे तो वो काफी सिमिलर हैं विद द आईआईएम्स एंड ऑल एंड इफ दे आर हायरिंग द सेम कैंडिडेट्स लाइक फ्रॉम बोथ द बी स्कूल्स दैट मीन्स दैट उनको ऐसा कोई कंपल्शन नहीं है ऑफ अ पर्टिकुलर डिग्री Ishika is asking Abhishek if I reach out to you on LinkedIn, will you help me with my profile evaluation?
Okay.
Yeah,
No
you
problem.
can reach out to Abhishek then, Ishika. Um, Asif is asking, I'm still in my final year of undergraduate. Would it be a good decision to apply? So I think the question is that as a fresher, should you apply or should you take work ex first?
Yeah,
Tanmay?
I mean, it's yeah, entirely subjective thing again. What are your goals and aspirations ahead? So if you want to get some experience before joining, then definitely go for a work ex. But there won't be any problem if you're joining as a fresher. That's the thing.
Got it. Abhishek, would you like to add anything here?
See, I was a fresher when I applied. Okay. So the thing is, although there is no problem while you can be a fresher and apply, but again, it comes down to the profile. And also, if you do job for let's say for example 12 months 15 months, so it gives you a taste of how corporate thing works and what exactly you're getting into, because a lot of people when I came into MBA, so I was a little confused initially, what corporate life is, what exactly is expected out of me. But eventually, when I, did a lot of peer-to-peer interaction with alumni, senior students, then I got to understand, hey, this is what it is. So definitely, not having a work is not a, disadvantage, but yeah, probably you can get a larger understanding of corporate life, and then probably you can apply. So it goes either way.
Got it. Prakhar has a question, and I think this is also similar to the MBA versus IMB question. But he's saying कि a lot of online communities are saying कि this degree won't be accepted in India या फिर कि AICTE से recognize नहीं है या ये वो. So can you guys throw some light on it? This might be a very popular question in people's mind for even PGDM or the programs which are not called an MBA.
Right. Abhishek, would you like to take that?
You can take and I can probably add.
Yeah, sure. It doesn't give any, degradation of the fact to the degree that you get, because you will definitely keep benchmark of an MBA degree for IIM, right? Just to gauge what's the credibility of this degrees. So definitely there is no problem with anyone as such to get a job, or to go for different perspective of building their career. So definitely I would say there is not an issue for the degree that we get from SDA Bocconi.
Yeah, and see, I mean, we have triple accreditation, right? So that values a lot more than AICTE. So AICTE is something like, it's a governing body which is more or less related to technical education, more or less related to BTech. And a lot of colleges which are in India, which probably are tier 2 or tier 3 colleges, are affiliated to AICTE and not other triple crown accreditations. So, needless to say, just go for those triple accreditation as compared to AICTE, because you're not losing out on any opportunities out there.
Got it. I have a question for both of you, which is
Yeah,
tell us who should and who shouldn't join SDA Bocconi Asia Center.
that's a trick
Okay.
question.
And both of you
Yeah.
have to answer for both of the parts of the question.
See, I mean, I'll tell you who should join SD Bocconi. So, as I told, I mean, people were asking about work experience and this and that. Definitely, I mean, but again, work experience, as per me, I mean, if you talk to me at a personal level, work experience is probably a plus point and is preferred anywhere, because that gives you that added advantage. Okay, because you can then relate yourself with a lot of things which are happening. Even Tanmay has got an experience before he applied, right? And in his place, so that gives you an added advantage. It's not like fresher cannot do it, but SD definitely prefers, and it should be there. I mean, as per my understanding. So people with overall good communication, who have got a knack of cross cultural orientation, that experience, that they want a European experience as well, things like that. And they're ready for challenging things which unfold in MBA, or things like that. So definitely SD is for them, and not SD. So see, I mean, people who are not willing to learn, I mean, see, I cannot say anyone who's not who cannot join SD. So I would say anyone who's not ready to put himself or herself 100% into the course, because course is a little strenuous, not little but a lot, because we used to start classes right 9 a.m. in the morning, 4 p.m. Then you used to do a lot of club level activities. We used to do a lot of presentations which might go up till 12 or 1 in the night. Every day that was the thing, right from Monday to Saturday. And Sunday we used to stick around in the house and do a lot of daily chores and all. So yeah, I mean, it's a lot of strenuous work that goes into SD Bocconi. So if you're not into that, you're not that hardworking and do not want to dedicate yourself, then probably it's not the place for you.
Got it. Perfect. What about you,
Yeah.
Tanmay?
My answer would be like similar, aligning to what Abhishek said. I mean, if you are, someone who is more interested to build up a network, someone who is, take that extra effort, that one extra mile apart from your curriculum, because we are always trained from right after the school. I mean, right from the beginning of our school, like go there, learn from what you have, been taught in the class, written in your textbooks, write it down in your paper, get it clear, get your exam, and that's it. And then eventually you will land it on a good job. But MBA is never a degree which was designed to get a job, because it's more of a degree where you build the leadership qualities, where you upskill your soft skills. So that is one thing which you will see a lot in SR. I mean, the curriculum is designed in that way. So once you enter the campus, you will get that corporate feel. You will understand that no, apart from curriculum, I'll have to get out of the books. So if you are that kind of student, if you are that kind of person who right from the beginning, from the day one, thinks to upscale खुद को खुद से ज़्यादा, so that's one thing I would say can join the college, and ESTA will be a right fit for you. I mean, you will be the cultural fit for the ESTA or vice versa. So that's the answer, a better answer for that, I would say.
Got it, got it. Perfect. Guys, I would give you a message basis जो मैंने एसडी बुकॉनी एशिया सेंटर के स्टूडेंट से बात की है. When you consider the ROI, remember two factors here. First is that they offer up to 80% scholarship. So a lot of people get these. It's not like कि सिर्फ कुछ students को मिलती है. So firstly, if you have these kinds of apprehensions या questions, तो आप admissions team को reach out करके पहले पूरी details पता कर सकते हो. And secondly, consider the fact that the tuition fee is 19.8, but the additional fee goes into your hostel expenses, जो मिलान में आप specialized semester spend करते हो. Not many B schools in India offer that kind of international exposure. I am sure that many of your batchmates must have also taken admission because of that international exposure wala part. Not only because you go there, but also the kind of case studies that are there, या फिर के जो visiting faculty हैं वो एक अलग तरह का experience है जो सारे B schools में नहीं मिलता है in India. So consider these factors. Make your choice by talking to the alums. Talk to Abhishek on LinkedIn. Um, Talk to a variety of students who are current students as well as who are like alums. That way you'll get a better perspective, and hopefully this live session also gives you a couple of pointers जिनके ऊपर आप और पूछ सकते हो और जान सकते हो. And hope Tanmay and Abhishek के insights आपको help करें into making the right decision. Any final message from your side, Tanmay and Abhishek?
Abhishek, as a senior, I would say you would go first. Like, what's the
Okay.
piece of advice when I will take that?
See, I mean, and what I will say is, make a conscious choice because MBA is like this particular thing will stick with you for the rest of your life. So make a conscious choice. Note all the offerings that each of the B school is offering you towards the end of the day, and definitely evaluate your profile, evaluate your score. If you have a work experience, that's good enough. And then just intertwine the two and make the best decision out of it. Okay, so I'm not saying just because I'm an alum, right, so I'll just go for SDA. I'll just say make a conscious choice, evaluate all the options, evaluate your profile, and then do the needful and the rightful thing. Yeah, that's the only message.
Got it. Tanmay?
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I would say, gain some little clarity before you join MBA because most of the people, students join MBA just because of the term of getting a fancy salary and a good job.
Hmm.
So just think about it once go for a decision कि MBA क्यों करना है because engineering कर लेते हैं हम. Mostly engineers के दिमाग में आता है कि भाई engineering कर लिया अब क्या करना है MBA कर लेंगे. तो थोड़ा सोच लो कि एमबीए क्यों करना है बिकॉज जस्ट नॉट आ गए एमबीए करने के लिए और यहाँ पे फिर वो इंजीनियरिंग वाला तो सीन नहीं है कि भाई एक रात पहले पढ़ लो एग्जाम क्लियर कर लो निकल जाओ. तो यहाँ पे चीजें काफी डायनामिकली चेंज होगी बिकॉज आप बहुत इंडस्ट्री के साथ डील करते हो. इट्स अ प्रोफेशनल कोर्स थोड़ा. तो गेन अ लिटिल क्लैरिटी आई वुड से एंड देन मेक अ कॉन्शियस एंड अ माइंडफुल चॉइस एंड ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर व्हाटएवर डिसीजन यू टेक.
Okay, thank you so much, guys. Honestly, like after this session, मुझे एक चीज बहुत अच्छी लग रही है that overall it feels like the program really helps you groom yourself as a professional. So when you consider the intangibles, especially, ऐसा लगता है that you enter as one kind of a person and then you exit as a totally different, transformed person. So yes, thank you so much for clarifying these queries that the students had. I hope आप लोग को थोड़ी help मिली हो because of this session. अगर कुछ और questions भी होंगे, what you can do is you can put them in the comment section and then I can reach out to the admissions team and get back to you. And उसके अलावा I will add timestamps to this live session a little later, थोड़ा सा rest करके, so that you guys can come back to the different portions and then check it. Thank you so much to the guests of this live session. Thank you, Tanmay. Thank you, Abhishek, for taking out the time.
Thanks, Shweta.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah. Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Shweta. Thank you,
Have a good
everyone.
night.